Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to do the lost work. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Lebo. I am currently residing in the beautiful South Korea. So today I want to talk about Hong Kong. Let's talk about Hong Kong. I've noticed that most teachers are not necessarily flocking into Hong Kong. Why are they not going to Hong Kong like we have? You hear a lot of teachers going to Vietnam, you hear a lot of teachers go to China, Korea, Japan, but why not Hong Kong? I have been to Hong Kong myself. The first time I've been to Hong Kong is when I was traveling to South Africa when SAA was still like SAA. When SAA was still SAA. So I'll take my flight from Shanghai or Nanjing to Hong Kong and from Hong Kong straight to South Africa. So that was the first time I've been to Hong Kong, and the airport is super beautiful. I think the Hong Kong airport is the second beautifulest airport that I've ever been to after Singapore. So it's first Singapore, then Hong Kong. It's so beautiful. Like everything about it is beautiful. So yeah, that was the first time I saw Hong Kong. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. This is such a cool place. And I remember there was a time where I had a very long layover and I tried to go into Hong Kong. And yeah, it was so beautiful. But yeah, so me and my friend, the other time we had a long weekend, we decided we are going to Hong Kong because it's visa free for South Africans. So we decided to go to Hong Kong. It is just a 2-hour flight from China. Remember, Hong Kong is an island. Yeah, it's not far from Macau. It's not far from Shenzhen. It's very close to Shenzhen in China. Shenzhen, you know what I mean. And it also is also close. It's not very far from Taiwan. Taiwan is also another island, and most teachers are flocking into Taiwan. But why don't people go to Hong Kong? So I'll break it down to you. Actually, I do have an application form for Hong Kong here. It's called NET, NET, right? Yeah, it's a NET scheme, native speaking English teacher. I think that's what it basically means. So but NET caters for public schools, and I kid you not, Hong Kong pays a lot of money. And Hong Kong pays more money than China. Hong Kong pays more money than Saudi, these UAE countries. Hong Kong pays a lot of money. But yeah, I'm just gonna break it down. So with NET, you actually do need your PGCE, or you need to be a qualified teacher. I do have my PGCE, hence I was trying to apply for NET. And you don't have to deal with agents. They're gonna just take you directly. You don't have to pay any agent any chunk of money. And yeah, so I have the application form. I have all the documents ready. I just needed to post them, but that's when Saudi Arabia happened. So my option was either UAE, Hong Kong or China. So but I've got a friend of mine that left from Korea to Hong Kong. So I was asking her what is happening that side of the world. So I remember when I visited Hong Kong with my friend, the first thing is that Hong Kong is very beautiful. It is so beautiful. It is so clean, and people there speak English. They speak more English than the Chinese people. They call themselves Cantonese, but they are originally Chinese. Due to colonization, Hong Kong was colonized by the British, and I don't want to get into politics in China. Was trying to get Hong Kong back. There was a big strike, or there were a lot of demonstrations that time because the Hong Kong people didn't want to be led or being taken over by China. But apparently this was like an agreement between China and England that we're gonna take over until this time. After that, we're gonna give you back your Hong Kong. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, somewhere between those lines, right? So the first reason why I wanted to go teach in Hong Kong is because it pays good money. It pays a lot of money, and you do get teachers that get around 90K if you work 90,000 rands. Yeah. Let me not confuse you. 90,000 rands, 75,000 rands if you are in net scheme or this public school, whatever that I was applying for. Maybe they'll look for the experience that you had and stuff like that, but you must have a teaching license. But if you're gonna work for an international school or a private school, you don't need PGCE, or you don't need a teaching license. You can just go there like the same way you come to Korea. So why are teachers not flocking there? I think the reason number one is the finance part of it. Hong Kong is very expensive, and unlike China, Korea, and other countries, they don't cater for your accommodation. You are solely responsible for your own accommodation, and you have to pay a deposit. Let's say an accommodation is 15,000 rands, right? Yeah, it's somewhere between those lines. This is not even the biggest house. It's just an okay house. It's a small house. It's 15,000 rands. So you have to pay two deposit. You have to pay deposit for 2 months. So it means you have to pay. Let's say you go there in January, right? You have to pay 15,000 rands for January. You have to pay 15,000 for the first deposit and another 15,000 for the second deposit. So you need to have 45,000 rands. But another thing is that if it's an agent that actually found the place for you, you have to pay half of that money to the agent. Let's say you already paid 45,000 rands for the deposit and for the first month, you have to give the agent 7,500 rands for finding you the place, right? So that is quite a lot of money to start off, right? Whereas in Korea and China, they do cater for your accommodation, or they give you like what is it? They give you an allowance, a housing allowance, right? Hong Kong doesn't do that. And the other reason is that you are responsible for your health insurance, right? Some people, they just live with no health insurance, but should you fall ill or something happen to you, you are responsible for yourself. And mind you, Hong Kong is a very expensive country to live in, right? So I used to think Singapore is the most expensive country to live in, but apparently, according to the ranking, Hong Kong is the most expensive city. I'll say Hong Kong is a city because it's just an island. It's very small, but yet very beautiful, very clean, very well organized. So it is very expensive. Everything is expensive. The food, the clothes, everything. So this is probably the reason why teachers don't flock into Hong Kong. And what I like about Hong Kong is that it is so easy to get a job. You don't have to leave Korea with a job. Maybe it's a disadvantage or maybe it's an advantage. You have to go into Hong Kong yourself on a tourist visa. And when you get there, you start looking for a job. And when you're looking for a job, it can take a week. It can take 2 weeks. It can take a month, but eventually you will find a job, but we don't know how long it will take. So it means you have to book a hotel or a motel or a hostel for that period, and it's very expensive. So you need to have a lot of money, and once you do find that job, you need to find an accommodation to pay 2 months deposit. I don't know the reason for the 2 months deposit, but yeah, apparently when your contract ends, they'll give you your money back. But from what I heard, is not the money that you put in. They will just find a scratch on the wall. They say, oh, here is scratched. They deduct. Maybe you just end up with 200 Hong Kong dollar or something because you have lived there for a while. Whatever that is scratched, they'll look for every single little thing So people never actually get that 2 months deposit back. I mean, some countries will charge you for 1 month deposit, but with Hong Kong, for some reasons, is 2 months deposit. So it's very expensive, and it's hard to get a job if you are outside of Hong Kong. You need to be in Hong Kong. Actually, I did get an interview from this lady, and when she found out I'm actually in Korea, she was like, actually we want people that are already in Hong Kong, and you just take your documentation with you and you do everything while you are in Hong Kong. Like, they've got like some sort of immigration, whatever. You give them your police clearance, and they can check, they can attest by themselves, they can verify and authenticate by themselves. So it's very different. The process of doing things is very different, but the money is good, the salary is there, but the cost of living, the accommodation, everything, is gonna reduce your salary. So that was the reason why I was like, I held back, and luckily I got a job in Saudi instead. So I was considering Hong Kong, but from the research I realized that maybe I was not even going to have this amount of money to pay for the deposits and stuff like that. And sometimes you get a job through an agent. If you got a job through an agent, it's a big mistake, because they take a lot of money from you, right? You can end up, instead of getting 75,000, you can end up with 40,000 rands. They take a lot from you. So yeah, it's a lot of things, but I really really liked Hong Kong. When I visited it, it was so beautiful, so peaceful. Everything is in place, everything is in order. I really really liked it. And yeah, they don't really have winter. I'm not a winter person, so it was a perfect country for me. Now, because it's winter, it's not that cold in Hong Kong, it's just chilly. Not like Korea is so cold. So it's an island. They've got, I love beaches, they do have those. And yeah, they have a lot going on in Hong Kong, as small as it is. And yeah, I think I summarized everything about Hong Kong. If you do consider to go to Hong Kong, try not to use the agents, and make sure that you have enough money to pay for those crazy deposits before you get your actual salary. And you must also make sure you try to get accommodation by yourself to avoid paying for the agent fees. And yeah, try to get a school try to get a PGCE, so you can get a job at a public school, because some of these international schools are very demanding. If you are not meeting the expectations of the parents, remember, the parents and the kids drive the show with international schools. If they say, we don't like label, they don't like you, so they can just say bye bye to you anytime. And now you'll be like, I didn't pay my rent, I didn't do. Just make sure you do have sufficient money to cater for those instances. But I think the best way to go is to go through net. But yeah, with net, they don't want you to email the application. You have to do it the traditional way. Take the papers with you. Go post them, and then they'll receive them. And then yeah, but if you scan them and send them through an email, they'll not accept it. So they actually do have the checklist. You fill up your application form, your ID, not your ID, your passport copy, and your qualifications. And yeah, together with the application form, your SACE certificate, or your PGCE, or your teaching license, whatever you have. And right. So yeah, that's what they need. Even a photo of you must have, like an ID photo. And that's what is needed. But Hong Kong is very safe, it's very livable. But I think the starting point in Hong Kong is the one that is a bit challenging. And that's why teachers don't flock to Hong Kong as much, because you need to have a lot of money to start off in Hong Kong. So yeah, that's all I had to share about Hong Kong. I mean, like, I'll still look into it if maybe I leave Saudi or life happens. Is a place that I would like to stay because I really liked it. I'm like, why? I was even asking myself, why are teachers not coming here? Why don't I hear about teachers coming to Hong Kong? Normally, it's white teachers. There are a lot of white South African teachers there. Not so much from black teachers, but you do have African people, that are teaching there from different countries, probably because they had enough money to start off, right? So it needs a lot of savings, maybe take up a loan or something. But I think when you get used to it and everything start falling into places, I'm not saying it's not doable, it's doable, but you do need a chunk of money to start off, because they don't cater for all these things that are being catered for us in South Korea, in China, and so forth. So you are responsible for your own accommodation, your health insurance, and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all about this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, you can even tell me the stuff that you'd like me to talk about, because sometimes I don't know what you guys would like to know. So you can give me suggestions on what you want me to talk about, and I don't mind doing the research and sharing with you whatever I can share with you. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. See you. Bye.